Might there be a chance here to discover the treasure once and for all? Sure. There's all of these clues that strongly suggest this area holds significant interest.
Rick Lagina has finally found a breakthrough on mysteries of the infamous Oak Island. They just found something so bizarre that proves that gold is here on this island. Did they find a hidden chest that has a map to the actual treasure? Well, in this video, we are going to find that out. Craig Tester and Steve Guptill, along with Alex Lagina and the rest of the crew, are gathered to begin the latest large-scale excavation with the hope that they will uncover the second shaft, over 100 feet deep, and built in the early days of the 18th century, believed to be only a few feet southeast of the original money pit. To do this, they will be digging up the first ever searcher shaft on Oak Island. Their current goal is to obtain some pieces of the shaft and conduct dendrochronology on it, which will be able to tell them the year this wood was formed on a tree. According to Craig, if anything will be able to tie them back to the original money pit, it would be shaft 2. The tree rings they spot on the wood will tell them when it was cut down. If they can uncover and confirm the date to around 1805, they will not only be able to locate the original money pit, but also find the source of the precious metals they have detected in the area. They excavate a big piece of wood they believe could have belonged to one of the long walls. But the question remains, does this belong to shaft 2? According to Rick Lagina, the second shaft is like the Holy Grail in terms of significance. They are closer than ever to finding the money pit. The wood they pull out is rounded and thick, which Craig believes is the outside of the tree, and could be excellent for their testing. They take multiple samples of this wood when Marty Lagina arrives on site, and they decide to use a mirror to take a closer look at what's down there by reflecting light into the dark corners. Marty describes how incredible it is what people in the past were able to accomplish with their limited technology, but also how they need to think to find the money pit. Gary uses his metal detector and finds a signal in one of the scoops of dirt, pulling out a rosehead spike which remains in great condition, possibly from the 1700s. Between the 1780s and mid-1800s, rosehead spikes were created for construction. This could be another clue. They note a lot of boards in the dark pit, and they decide to try and take some of those beams off the walls. Rick notes the mix of older wood and how the second shaft was built in the early 1800s, likely a great match to that old wood. If they find a match between that wood and this time frame, they will have the first discovery shaft on Oak Island, an amazing accomplishment. The operator of the excavator is flying blind but being instructed by Scott as they carefully maneuver the excavator's bucket down this shaft and scrape it along the walls for wood samples. However, they face a setback when their first sample falls out of the bucket and splashes into the water below. This is a great challenge, but Billy the operator triumphs as he pulls out a massive beam of wood. Gary then goes to check if there is any metal in the wood by passing a detector over it. When there is no signal of metal, he determines this is a good sign as it suggests a very antiquated style of construction.
First ever searcher shaft on Oak Island.
True?
Well, we think. That we know of.
Yeah.
That's right.
Now they ask themselves if someone could have reconstructed the top part of shaft 2 after it was originally built in 1805. They may have found the evidence to find the original money pit. This area is a landmark for them. This operation has been an incredible success. Back at the Oak Island Research Center, Marty has met with a few people who will be involved in the well drilling, and to get on the same page as they move forward. Marty Lagina explains that he has been focused on the metals detected in the water. A few weeks back, some scientists had broken down the results of the testing they had conducted on the island and zeroed in on a yellow district which had persistently high levels of copper, lead, zinc, and tin. Their testing has them looking at a 2,500 square foot region known as the Pie. Dr. Michelle believes that what they are looking for is in the golden egg section they have. So Marty is determined that this is where they will be drilling all the wells to better evaluate the area. The next morning, the crew gathers to begin their testing and digging. While drilling in the golden egg, they have come across evidence that suggests a possible structure in the area at a depth of almost 100 feet. Mike from Choice Solid Drilling explains that the sample he pulled out is soft at the top, and we learn that there is no wood in the sample, but this is a good sign as it points to them getting close to something. Marty believes that if there is something there, they will find it in that hole. Peter suggests taking some tests of the water for metal testing, and they decide to ask Dr. Spooner to take a sample. Later that afternoon, Marty returns after he is told they have made progress in the EN13 borehole made in the golden egg. Just the other day, The crew believed they had almost hit a man-made structure as they drilled nearly 100 feet underground. The new sample under a yellow cone was measured against EN13, and what they found was something coming out of the well, like loud booms that went on for half a minute. The belief is that they may be drilling near something and air getting into it, the implication being something is open down there or collapsing. Dr. Spooner believes there must be a void. All of these clues point towards something happening in this area. Dr. Spooner holds up a sample of the water, which looks yellow in the sunlight. This darker water indicates they are close to a source of wood. This development has piqued the interest of Rick Lagena, especially if it means that an underground collapse is pointing to an open chamber. They believe that water has moved from a tunnel or shaft, and all of this information is vital to know where the traces of metal are coming from. They hope that their next drilling spot will reveal even more information. The next day, they discover another Roman coin which the team has connected to descendants of Vikings, which could be important for their discussions. The historian on Oak Island explains that the Norse had reached Iceland and Greenland before 1021 AD, and after that just a short ride away in Newfoundland, which is 600 miles northeast of Oak Island. For this reason, they are headed to that Viking settlement that was established more than a millennia ago and has been labeled by the Canadian government as a National Historic Site. Today, it is the only recognized Viking settlement in North America. According to Rick, the descendants of these Vikings are an important detail needed to understand how an old world treasure could have made its way to Oak Island.
Artifacts in the Viking Age.
Oh.
And fortunately, I have a replica here.
He believes that this history is vital for the ability of the person or people who came across the North Atlantic and do this work on Oak Island. Before their trip, they discuss bringing some of their findings like the old arrowhead along with them, as they believe they may have some connection to these Vikings and their descendants. The historian then mentions that the Viking settlement was only discovered in the 1960s, and this makes Marty laugh, as it means that there could be many more not yet discovered. The historian agrees and even believes this could mean the Vikings and Templars making their way further past Newfoundland and into Oak Island is very possible. They even have relics that point to that conclusion. Marty believes that if anything happened on Oak Island as far back as the 1200s, then it almost certainly has to be some kind of activity done by the Vikings and their descendants. Based on what they know currently, it almost has to lead to them, as very few people in that period knew about this island. It is very possible that they could have brought along the Knights Templar or any number of other people to the island with the intention of depositing something. This leads to the Laginas wanting to launch an expedition. After finding another coin on Lot 5, Alex is very excited about the crew going to L'Anse aux Meadows, or the Viking settlement on Newfoundland, and looking around while Alex remains back at the island. New insight and perspective is always important on their quest to uncover the secrets and treasures of Oak Island. Thank you so much for watching and liking this video. Don't forget to share this with your friends and family. Let us know in the comments what you think about Oak Island's many mysteries and treasures. Do you think they are getting closer to uncovering the truth of the island? If you love this content and never want to miss an update, make sure you subscribe and turn notifications on.
But we are seeing some quantities of gold.
It shows gold.
Yeah.
Gold and silver has finally been found on Oak Island. The Lagena crew's hard work finally paid off. But it leaves a question: are these a part of the mystic treasure? Or the Oak Island, known for its hidden treasure, turned out to be a gold mine that is about to change the Lagena crew's lives forever? Let's dive in and find out.
It is, in fact, silver, but it does have a little bit of a lead content. Like, I only left these elements because they image really well. So this right here is a William III shilling. Silver, same diameter, and it matches the designs to a T.
Wow.
It was only when the crew paired up with Dumas Contracting Limited that they began to rebuild the 18th century old garden shaft, which is believed to be the original depositor of the long-lost treasure. They had several reasons to believe the treasure would be at the bottom of this shaft. The first reason was because they had discovered a collapsed secret tunnel just below the shaft, and two, because this mysterious tunnel was running toward the west, in the direction of the baby blob. The baby blob is the area that tested very highly for traces of gold, silver, and other metals. The next step for the two combined teams was to begin their horizontal probe drilling, which they hoped would reveal to them the location of the treasure. Unfortunately, they instead caused a leak of ocean water that forced them out of the tunnel. They realized they had fallen into an ancient trap that litters this island, destroying all the work they had done to this point. They speculate that they hit the flood tunnel system, but at the same time, this disaster has validated many of the stories and legends surrounding the island. All the science and booby traps come together to confirm that the legends about this island are real.
The big goal is to get good, solid pieces of the shaft so we can do dendrochronology on it. That'll give us an excellent date.
They have concluded that the volume and speed at which they flooded the garden shaft can only truly be explained by deliberate actions done to stop treasure hunters. As they arrive, Jack explains that things have changed all around the island. Lot 5 is their first stop, and they describe all the different discoveries and clues they have been able to unearth in this area. They have found ancient structures nobody knew about in Lot 5, as well as artifacts that are dated from as far back as the 1200s to the 1700s. There have even been ancient coins and tokens found in this lot. One thing about these finds is that they only become more intriguing with time, so they have Laird and his team working in the area even now. Since they have so much evidence of treasure in the money pit, the crew has been searching the rest of the island for more clues as to who had created this mystery on the island. The western portion of the island could hold the answers. Lot 5, a 4-acre portion of land, was first purchased a few years ago by Rick, Marty, and Craig from the estate of Robert Young. Since this purchase, they have continued to make new discoveries in that area, all of which has given them new suspects as to the person who left all the traps, secrets, and treasure on the island. One of the suspects left behind 4 Roman coins which go back 2,000 years.
It is?
Yeah, this is clearly Roman design.
So, is a Roman coin?
Absolutely, yeah.
2 for 2.
They found an old barter token that they have connected to the lead cross found in Smith's Cove back in 2017 and is associated with the Knights Templar. They have also found iron tools linked to Sir William Phipps, who was an English politician in the 17th century. This link led everyone to speculate that a whole chest of Spanish silver could be buried in the money pit. These finds were made near stone foundations, one which is rectangular and the other rounded one near the shoreline. The archaeologists are busy digging and uncovering an incredible stone structure that is much larger than anyone imagined. This has become a designated special place for the crew after all the astonishing finds they have made. This special designation will help protect these sites and allow them to dig in an archaeological fashion that will protect the context in which these items were left behind. Already, they have been able to determine how the shape of the structure they are studying varies in size, curvature, and quality of construction due to their great care. They have determined how the newer section has very intentional design and speaks to the theory that this is a project spanning multiple generations. They speculate that perhaps the people behind this could have been living in this area while building the money pit. Gary and Peter arrive at Lot 4 and are about to go over all of the spoils they discovered around the big feature. Their job will need the use of metal detectors, as they are going to be searching more than 10 tons of spoils that were collected along the shoreline of Lot 5. They have found items that vary in age all along the stone-lined foundation, amongst them a 14th century barter token and 17th century tools. They have also found materials that match substances discovered 100 feet deep in the money pit, as well as matching things found below Cone E which have been linked to an 800-year-old cross. Gary and Peter are determined to find something that can tell them when the feature was created and why. After some searching, Gary finds a cut coin. This means that it could be a Spanish coin, likely made of silver.
We found a cut coin.
Okay.
And if this is a cut coin, mate, it could well be a Spanish coin.
Gary notes that the cut is very clean and deliberate, as that is how they used to make change with their coins. This could potentially be a Spanish treasure coin. During the 18th century, European nations like Spain, England, and France were colonizing the world and establishing trade routes and outposts throughout the Americas. During this time, it was common for the military and for outlaws like pirates to cut coins to pay their crews. Gary and Peter know that the Lagena brothers, Rick and Marty, will be delighted with their find. They head over to the lab, proud of their work. At the Oak Island lab are the Lagena brothers, along with Jack, Laird, and Emma, who will assist them in learning more about their find. Laird immediately confirms it's a cut coin. Jack notes it has been quartered, and Emma says she will run it through the CT scanner to get an image. To find small details and features on the coin, they will use a SkyScan CT scanner to X-ray and magnify the image into a three-dimensional model. Emma notes that this quick scan only shows surface-level scratches, but that a longer scan will give them more detail. They decide that while they wait for this highly detailed scan, they can search the area for more scans. Rick and the rest of the team get together for a meeting where Marty and Craig join them via a video conference app. The report on the silver coin is in, and everyone wants to hear the news. Emma explains that the detailed scan she did revealed faint engravings on one side of the coin, and the XRF map scanner showed that the silver coin contained some lead. The XRF scanner uses beams of X-rays, which give different colors to different elements that are present on the surface of various objects.
So it's an English shilling from the 1690s.
Oh yeah, you can see the ponytail.
Yeah. And the little two triangles, it's its little ribbon.
Wow, that's a shocker.
The engraving of GVLI and the design on the left and right side matches some marks on a William III shilling and has the same silver composition and diameter. This 1690 English shilling is not a Spanish silver coin, but still interesting, as it proves that the area they were searching in could have been inhabited around the 1600s. They are disappointed this is not a clue toward their Spanish treasure theory, but they now have reason to believe that someone was working or hiding something in Lot 5, perhaps even a soldier being paid for some service. The Oak Island historian, Doug Crowell, is reminded of a book about the British military that attempted to recover William Phipps's treasure on the island all those years ago. In this book, Doug references titled Oak Island and Its Treasures. The authors dictated an amazing tale of a covert operation that took place on Oak Island after Sir William Phipps allegedly buried a vault of treasure in the Money Pit area. According to the book, English allies of Sir William made a number of failed attempts to retrieve the treasure on Oak Island in the late 1600s. This shilling could be proof that the English military were once on Oak Island. If Doug Crowell is right, this piece could be connected to failed treasure recovery operations. They never found the treasure, and adding in the gold and silver particles present in the water tests conducted on the island, the clues all point to the treasure still being on the island. This find and their searches in Lot 5 have just become more vital and significant than ever before. This incredible discovery has changed the game for the Oak Island crew. The sense that they are closer to answers than ever before becomes truer every day. Do you think they will discover the treasure after collecting these pieces of evidence? Let us know in the comments down below. Please do not forget to subscribe and turn notifications on so you never miss an update.